Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Dawwi Raissa with my colleague here, Beka. Oh, salah ya pembukaannya. Maaf. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I'm going to present my cybersecurity penetration using DVWA or Damn Vulnerable Web Application. Today I'm as your host, Dawwi Raissa Damarjati Muljana with my colleague here, Beka, Gustav, Sayudha, and let's just jump straight into the introduction. So, our presentation is a very crucial security involving technical hacking and identifying and exploit the system vulnerability. This simulation is almost a real cyber attack, adding on strength and defense as the cyber threats evolving the significance of penetration testing grew. In uncovering the weaknesses of the recommendation security improvement, protecting sensitive data is essential in this modern era cybersecurity, as cyber attack is very common this day. For method, first of all, we are using our Oracle VirtualBox. This is an open free software from Oracle. We use this to isolate our system so it won't impact the result, and the result also won't impact our main system. And after that, we have XMPP. XMPP is a widely used cross-platform for server solution. We employed host and manage the DVWA from this application. It compressed with Apache with facilitate web server functionality and MySQL for the database management. The setup is offer us to control and isolate the environment. And then we use Burp Suite. Burp Suite is to extensively tool for website vulnerability, scanning, proxying, and instrumental and disassessment. And it's a vital introspection and examining of HTTP requests in response of enabling the detection of analysis of potential security vulnerability within this subject with its DVWA application. So I think I'm going to give this part to my colleagues Beka.
Okay, thank you, Dawwi. So for the first penetration testing that we do is simply the brute force attack. Now keep in mind that the environment that we use, we set the security level of DVWA to medium to set it that there is some sort of security, but it's not as hard as a barrier for us to break into. Now, in the brute force attack, let's get to the next slide, please. In the brute force attack, in this case, we trying to get the password of a user. Now, for simplicity's sake, let's just assume that the username is admin, and we would like to find out about the password. So in this case, we use Burp Suite to create a proxy server to intercept and analyze the HTTP requests from the login page. Now, as we inspected the login requests and to try to change the structure and send a cluster bomb attack, which is an intruder tool in Burp Suite. And assuming admin is the username, and we iterate through a dictionary of potential passwords and the dictionary that we use is like 500 most common password, and yeah, we just iterate through all of them, and we can see that the correct password has a different length compared to the other. And as you can see, it's just in the top right picture there, at top left picture, you can see under the line, there's the length, which is 4,694 compared to the other, which is like 4,655 and 54. And we can conclude that from the length of the request message, or rather the response message, we get that the admin and password is the combination for the username and password. And as you can see in the bottom picture there, that we got the welcome to the password protected area admin message, meaning that the username and password is been correctly identified. Now let's move on to the next attack, which is command execution attack or command injection attack. And once again, it's the same environment that we use. We set the security level to medium, and to make it that there is some sort of security, but it's still not impossible to break into this or to exploit this flaw in the security. And let's go to the next slide, please. And in the command injection or command execution attack uh, that we tried, there is a text field which is used to ping a device by entering an IP address. Now, the medium level security, it limits or rather it eliminates anything that use semicolon or double N symbol. But we as the attacker has found a way to circumvent or has found an alternative way to get extra information that is not meant for the public or the exploiter to see by utilizing the N symbol to execute other commands. And as you can see here in the bottom picture, we type the IP address, and also we would like to find out the host name, the who am I information, and also maybe the directory. Now, this is quite a harmless attack that we do, but if there is more malicious attacker, they could get more dangerous information from the victim. So that's concludes our command execution attack. And the next one is CSRF attack, which is a cross-site request forgery. It's a kind of attack that change in this case, in our testing, it changed the password of the username that you are trying to get into. Now, let's go to the next slide, please. In the CSRF attack that we did, we also utilized the stored XSS or stored cross-site scripting to execute our attack. In this case, we use it as, I guess, in a way to send a message to the user, and the content of that message is a broken image. Now, the victim might think like, what is this broken image, and click on that broken image. But in actuality, the broken image is just a link for us to circumvent the security and direct the user in order for them to send a password change request that has been set by us as the attacker. In this case, we change the password from the initial password to our password, which is test123. And as you can see, we also utilize the burp suite here to ensure that the password has been changed. And there is a credential test, and you can see that in the bottom picture, we use the username as admin and the password test123. It's a valid password, meaning that the attack succeeded, and the user does not know that their password has been changed. And let's go to the next page, please. And the next one is file inclusion attack. Now, in this file inclusion attack, this is a way for the attacker to find out what other file is within the system of the server or the victim's data. And once again, it's medium level security. And for the medium level, there's a barrier. I guess there's a security measures to eliminate character dot slash, and it is usually to go back to from the directory of the file itself, and it has been omitted by the security measures. But as an attacker, we have found another way to circumvent these security measures. Let's go to the next slide, please. Yes, as you can see in the URL there, we added an extra dot slash in between the dot and the slash of the URL. So we just added the URL, which is the complete URL is dot slash, and then dot slash, which meaning we go back two folder up from the initial page, and we want to try to access another data or another file. In this case, we are trying to get py.php file, and as you can see from the top results, top image, our attack has been a success, and we can extract this information about Bond, James Bond, and my name is Sherlock Holmes, and so on. It's quite a harmless data, but still, it should not be accessed by anyone other than the victim. So, in conclusion, our attack has been succeeded in accessing prohibited data. Let's go to the next slide, please. For the SQL injection, it's one of the most common attack of cybersecurity, which is basically just an inject SQL queries into the system. And once again, it's set to the medium. And let's go to the next slide, please. Now, in order to execute this, we need to use burp suite to get the request message and try to send it to the repeater tool. In the repeater, the attacker only needed to change the ID value into what the attacker wants to inject the SQL. In this case, we would like to get the username and password from the database user. And we simply just change the initial value, which is 1, into the 1 plus the extra SQL queries that we want to execute. And in this case, you can see that in the bottom picture there, we managed to extract sensitive information within the database, which is the user, the password, the surname, and has been concluded that our attack is successful for the SQL injection attack. And let's go to the next one, which is, I believe, is a blind SQL injection. Now the difference is, for the blind SQL injection, the attacker usually does not get the output of the SQL injection itself. In a previous example, we can see that it extracted the username and the password from the database. And in this case, in the SQL blind injection, we just want to disrupt the database or the system itself. Once again, this is a security level medium. Next to the next slide, please, Dawwi. And the process is pretty similar, which is getting the request message and changing the ID value into and add the extra queries that you want to run in the SQL database. And in this case, because we want to avoid seriously damaging the database, we just add the command to put it to sleep for the response before we can get back a delayed response. And as you can see, we run we send the request message, and the response has a delay of around 5 seconds from the usual response time, which has meaning that our attacks of SQL injection has been a success. And let's go to the next slide, which we will talk about another attack. And in this case, it's file upload attack. And the file upload attack, once again, the medium security level in the DVWA. And for the file upload attack, it's let's go to the next slide. And it's basically uploading a file that might be malicious or that might be dangerous for the system to receive. Now, as you can see, when we upload our file, which is a PHP file a simple PHP file of command to run a command or CMD, and it has not been accepted because the only accepted file is JPEG and PNG image. Once again, as the attacker, we utilize burp suite to change the content type of our uploaded file from application of PHP into the image/JPEG, as you can see in the third image there. And after that, we send the message back to the site to upload our file, and it has been uploaded successfully. And as you can see in the bottom picture, it has been uploaded successfully, even though it's a PHP file, but the server or the system identify it as image/JPEG content type. And once again, it has been concluded that our attack of file upload has been success. And now let's move on to the next attack, which is the reflected XSS or reflected cross-site scripting attack. Now in this attack, we once again set the security level to medium, which has some security, which as you can see in the text there, that tries to mitigate the exploit by removing text, a specific text. In this case, it's script text from the user input, which is aiming to prevent script execution. And now let's move to the next slide to see how we can circumvent these security measures. Since the security only eliminates script, we can circumvent these security measures by putting another script in between the original script, so that the fake script text is deleted, but the intended script execution is fully intact. And as you can see on the top right, top left, you can see that's the text that we want to I guess to attack the website. It will eliminate the script which is in the front of the text there, and it will successfully run our original script, which is stating that your website is vulnerable to reflected XSS attack. Now, I will explain a little bit more the difference about the reflected and the stored XSS cross-site scripting attack. Let's go to the next slide, please. So our next attack is stored cross-site scripting attack. So the difference is for the reflected cross-site scripting attack, the attacker need to actively run the script in order for the attack to happen. But for the stored XSS or cross-site scripting attack, since the attack is through to a database, now we can every time the site has been compromised, it will run the script over and over again until the data that has been exploited is either deleted or removed from the website itself. Now the security measure is similar with nullifying script text in the user input, and let's see how we can circumvent this by going to the next slide. And since it's stored, that means we input into a database. So we set instead of messing with the text field, we want to import, or rather insert an image which has an alert of saying stored XSS attack. And as you can see, since the original text field has a limited amount, we can just inspect the element and change the maximum length for our attack to be successfully stored in the database. As you can see here, we change to the maximum length of 200, and we put the script into the database before submitting it, which is in this case it's signing the guestbook, and it will run the alert script every time someone opens the website. So until that data from the database is deleted, is been cleared or removed, it will constantly run this script every time someone opens the window. And the next one, please. Okay, for the discussion and conclusion, I will give it back to our colleague and my colleague, Dawwi. The time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Beka. So, in the discussion, we are going to talk about the interpretation, reflection, implication, limitation, and our recommendation for this assignment. So, let's start with the interpretation. Based on our implementation of this various attack type, there will always be a vulnerability in almost every cyber application, and this vulnerability can be exploited by bad actors such as cyber criminals. And the result of this indicate that the DVWA application, despite having a medium security level, it's still susceptible to get a cyber attack. This suggests that even the moderate security measure is placed, there is still have a vulnerability that can be exploited by us. And another result that is important is to implement a comprehensive security measure. Regularly updating the address, new vulnerability, they can also highlight the need through the testing and validation of the measuring to ensure the efficiency to protect against unknown emerge threat ahead. So for the reflection, from this reflection, we lesson learned. This exercise is reinforce the import of the regularity security audits and penetration testing. This is also emphasize the need of developing to be aware of a common vulnerabilities and how to mitigate them. And let's talk about implication. The implication is the result. This matter because they provide a valuable insight into the effectiveness of the current security measure. In this place, they can guide us further into improve our help and prioritize the security resource for enhancing our current security models. As for the limitation, while the result provide a valuable insight, they cannot tell us everything. For instance, they cannot provide information of potential impact of this vulnerability in the real world scenario. They also do not account for the possibility of the vulnerability that might exist in this application in the first place. And that's gonna jump to our recommendation. And based on our finding, now it recommends to implement an additional security measure such as content security policy or CSP in the HTTP only cookie and input validation, regular security, like also double authentication, and regular security audits and penetration testing should be conducted to identify the address and existing vulnerability in the application that we are working with. So, in conclusion, through this exercise, we gain a valuable experience in this performing various type of attack, and despite the medium security level, the DVWA application, we were able to successfully execute all the attack, such as the brute force, command injection or execution, CSFR, SQL injection, the script one and the non-script one, the blind SQL injection, reflected XSS and the stored XSS, and this has the reinforce my understanding for the importance for the robust security measure and the need of the continuous testing and penetration validation of this current application to make sure it also highlight the potential of vulnerable that can be exploited by the skill hacker, emphasizing that we need to develop more to stay up to date and commonly test the vulnerability and their mitigation, the strategy that might be that can do expect and unexpected. And that we are going to say thank you very much. My name is Dawwi and my colleagues Beka. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.